Hi guys, this is Suzanne HB, Crazy Just Might Work on Instagram, and I'm going to do a tutorial on my two curtain designs. This one is called the lace curtain, and this one is called cafe curtain because it's the little cousin of lace curtain. There's not much difference between them, so what we'll do is we'll start with the lace curtain, and then I can show you how to change the pattern so that it becomes the cafe curtain. So I don't know how well you can see the patterns running through there. That's one and that's the other. Alrighty, it's a hook only design, so you need your hook, and I'm sorry I haven't counted how many bands you'll need, but I'm thinking probably about 80 to 100. So it's one of those designs that's full of air. Alrighty, so I'm going to do it today with the 600 pack bands from Rainbow Loom. And I thought it might be easy to see a green one, so I will use the green, I think it's the green Persian colour to do that with. Alrighty. Now the first thing that you need to know is a stitch that I use on a lot of my hook onlys, just because I prefer to do this stitch rather than to hook a single band through and then have to go to the right hand side of the bracelet to put another loop on. I put the loop on and then pull the whole lot through. I'm thinking about calling it the leaf stitch because I hate saying this stitch thingy. So it ends up looking like a stem with a leaf on it, and basically it's just a single loop that attaches that. You can achieve that by just putting a band on there and using a second band, sliding it over and rehooking it. That can give you your chain, but I find that that just is a bit time consuming, and when you've got your design sitting on your hook, it's just a bit fiddly. So my fastest way of doing it is to get these two bands, put one on the hook, the one that's going to be the single loop, and this one's going to be the full band. The full band colour goes on top, then you go over that side, under there, and pull, and that's what you get. Now Jadaro, who's done a tutorial and is going to do other tutorials for me, actually does it slightly differently, so that you don't have to worry about which one's on top. You can have either of them as being your single chain. So you go under, over, and then to decide which one is your single chain, you just pull down the one that's not. So in this case you could pull down this one and that will become your single chain. If I take that back, if I pull on this one, that one becomes your single chain. So if you prefer to do that way, if it helps you keep track of your colours, or you don't like crossing it over, that's another way to do it. You can also just cross over and go under, over, under, and pull as well. Alright, so now we've got that sorted out, because that occurs on a lot of my bracelets and on this series as well. So, start the bracelet. We're going to start the bracelet. I'll just move those a little bit out of the way so we don't get confused. Start it with Yoldi cap band, just looping it around, and then you do the first of those leaf stitches. So however I did it before, and if you're not sure, go back to the beginning and have a look at how I made that, because I'm not going to really demonstrate it on the way through. And you hook that through. Reconnect. And now, okay, so for the next step, you just do 3 single chains on this left hand side, that loop there. So we'll go 1, so it's just going under one loop there. Then for these next 2, they'll go into both of those single chain loops. 2 and 3. Okay, so once you get to here, I'll show you again the next step. I'll show you my way and I'll show you an alternate way. The next step is we're going to put a loop holding onto those two middle ones. And the way I do it is I don't bother taking any off. I slide 3 on, and then I let that one go. I squeeze onto this one so it doesn't go anywhere, and I just grab that loop which pops through and rehook it, and now I've got one on the middle. Now another way of doing that, so I'll just take that one off. Another way of doing that would be to take this off, grab another loop, another band and pull it through, and then loop both of them back on again. So in any case, you need to get that loop onto those middle 2 bands. Once you've got the loop on the middle 2 bands, you turn the lot around. You should have 4 loops. You're going to turn them around, face them in the opposite direction. If you're lucky enough to have a 2-ended hook, you can slide them up the other end and turn your hook around. Or you can try J. Alvarez's idea of sliding them all onto, give it a bit of a pull down, slide them all onto another hook, like that, and then remove this one and turn it around. So whichever way you would like to turn it around is fine. Alrighty. Now I think if this is the cha-cha bracelet, I know that's a bit strange, but if you think about the steps, if you start with the middle step, it goes middle, turn, chain, chain, chain. If you've ever danced the cha-cha, it's like 1 and 2, cha-cha-cha, 1 and 2, cha-cha-cha. So middle, turn, cha-cha-cha. The middle, turn, chain, chain, chain. So we've done the middle, we've done the turn, so next is chain, chain, chain. So there's 1 chain, 2 chains, and sorry, that first chain goes through 2 this time because we're onto the main part of it. Just go back to there, just in case that was a bit confusing. After you've turned it, you've got 4 bands on there. Okay, so that's where we were when we turned it. We've got 4 bands on it. On this first one, we only had 3 bands, so we just took 1 underneath on the first one. But from now on, after you turn it, you're going to chain on 2 of those left-hand bands. So there we go, 1 and 2 and 3. So we've done the 3 chains, so we now want to do our middle turn because we're starting again. So again, you can do it whichever way you would like. I think I've seen, again, Jace is coming up with all sorts of interesting ways of doing things. You can get this band and put it next to that band, so you pull both of them, hold both of them in your fingers, and hook this one under the other 2, and then put both of those ones back on again. That's a possibility. So we got middle, so then we do turn, and then chain, chain, chain. So the chain from that last step, it's only the first one that goes under 1. The rest of them, the chains will go through 2 on there. So we do chain, chain, and chain. So once we've done our 3 chains, we then want to do our middle turn. So I'll show you my way again of doing it. I hook that on, I slide all 3 on, remembering that I really only want to get it through those middle 2. Hang on to that band there, so that loop doesn't slide away, and then just grab that one, and then grab it on again. Okay, so we've done our middle, so we must be up to turn. Back to turning, 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 and chain, chain, chain under the 2 bows there. 1, 2, 3. And of course we do middle, so you can try that, putting the bands together, pulling it off, pulling the chain under 2 and sliding those back on, and turn. As soon as you've done the turn, you do your chain, chain, chain. Chain, chain, and chain. Sorry if my voice is quiet. Just realised I'm talking more softly. I tend to get softer during the tutorials. Alright, so we've got it going on there. Now when we get to the end, all I did to finish it off was to, once I'd done the chain, 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 was to go to the middle, and then you can actually just attach it there, or you can do your turn, and so that you don't have quite as long a stitch at the end, you can just do one chain through there, whichever you think is more balanced. So this sort of seemed a bit more centered to me, to do a turn and one chain and then slide a loop through it, and then that loop will C-clip and the beginning loop cap band will C-clip, and then you have your lace curtain. So let's show you the other one, which is the cafe curtain, and there's really only one loop difference. Instead of turn, middle turn, chain, chain, you just chain, 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 you're going to go middle turn, chain, chain, kind of like, more like a march. Middle turn, chain, chain, middle turn, chain, chain. Okay, so we'll start it exactly the same way with our cap band and our leaf stitch. Like this. And then on this left hand side of the leaf stitch, you're going to just do 2 chains. So 1 and then 2 going through both sides of that. And then you'll do your middle, move those out of the way so you can get a little bit more contrast. Do that middle stitch, and if you want to do it with taking that band off and holding that new band in the same hand, that will work. So we do that, slide it through like that, reattach that band and that band, so you've now got it slipped through those middle 2, and then we do a turn. Turn. Okay, so once we've done our turn, we then do 2 chains instead of 3, and it's going to go through these 2 left hand bands now. So 1, 2, and then a middle stitch. I'll do my middle stitch so you can get a few different ways of looking at it. Slide it along, hang on to that loop on the left hand side, grab a hold of that so that's between those 2, and then loop that back on. It's effectively the same thing, it's just a different way of getting it done. So now we've done our middle stitch, we want to turn it. Remember, middle, turn, chain, chain. I'm starting to sound like Jace. I don't have Jace's accent, but that's okay. And I will not do an accent, because that would just be silly. So 2 chains and then back to the middle. So this one's just a faster turn. You do 2 chains, then do your middle stitch, linking up those 2 middle bands like that. Then you turn and do 2 chains. So the only difference between them is the number of chains between, but it does give kind of a different effect. And this one's less loopy and nice. And for the ending off, you just do the same kind of thing. If you've just turned it, then I would just do 1 stitch so that that long stitch isn't left out hanging out by itself, and then put 1 chain through all of those, and C-clip that to that one. So that one turns out looking more like this one. Alrighty, so there we have it. You can try your lace curtain, your cafe curtain. If you liked the video, please press the like. If you want to subscribe, that'd be great. I will be coming out with more tutorials. I've also got tutorials coming out by Jace Alvarez, by Loves to Loom, by Chidaro. So yeah, keep an eye out. I've got one out by Expert Looms. There's one by the Looming Centre. So there are quite a few different people who've got my tutorials out. You'll have to scan through my account to check it out. And please check me out on Instagram. And if you post on Instagram, I'd love to see your creations. So if you can put hashtag Crazy Just Might Work, put at Crazy Just Might Work in your comments, tag me on your photos. That's probably the best way that I won't misuse, to tag me actually on the picture, as well as in the comments, and I'll try and have a look and give you some feedback on your ideas. I love seeing what you do with my designs. So thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you later, guys. Bye.